Let's bring in our buddy, 14 seasons in the NFL, Chase Daniel, on that show facility before us. A guy that was... You played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7
that's
NFL.
It?
Yeah, that's it. So it's interesting. I watched the moment in the Jets game last night. So all these teams, you see the Jets did it, the Ravens did it, the Bills did it, Kansas City did it. They bring in a good player, okay? And I thought last night it wasn't just a play to Davante Adams. I'm like, I'm not sure they could have done that a week ago.
Yeah.
So you tell me, when you were there and you would bring in a very good player, it's hard within 3 days of practice. Like, I thought Davante and Aaron had a couple of big, and kind of one of those body language. You look at him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what happened. Like, I don't care if you've played with Davante your entire career. You are in a new system, in a new offense, in a new place, and you go and I did see that. That was exactly right. It was like a little head nod. And then we were with James Jones on the facility this morning. He's like, the play is called gap. He just pointed to his team. He's like, we did that in 2014 with Aaron Rodgers when I was there. So it really hasn't changed a lot. I just wanted to see Davante go out there and be the Davante Adams that we all thought he was, but he hasn't been able to show it.
Right.
And I think with that, it also opened up for Garrett Wilson, who had 2 touchdowns.
That's right.
And 91 yards receiving along with that. And it's just like, that's what Jets fans hope this offense could be. I'm not convinced it can be that way. I think they have bigger issues, but it was good to see those two guys get on the same page.
Yeah, they have some systemic coaching stuff and infrastructure stuff I don't trust. But the teams they need to beat to get to the wild card, the Miamis and the Jacksonvilles and the Colts and the Texans, they're all in front of them, and they play most of them at home, so they got a shot.
Yep.
Okay, so in your era, not to make you sound like Dan Fouts.
But am I old? Am I that old, J-Mac?
But in your era, you didn't have the personal coaching, the 7-on-7 camps. You played high school, college, and then you went.
Yep.
Okay. And so I am much less willing to just say, let's give a guy 3 years. So I said this yesterday. If you dated a woman for 6 months, it got worse every month. It's not overreacting. It's, hey, it doesn't work.
Yep.
I'm watching Anthony Richardson. Okay, I like the O-line. I love the running back. I like the receivers. I love the coach. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's short-sighted to me.
No, I think it's the right move. I think it's specifically the right move because the Colts believe what you believe. I know people in that building. I talked to them quite a bit.
It's a good roster.
It's not great. It's a borderline great roster. They feel like they are a lot closer than a lot of people outside of the building seem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the reason is because, like with Anthony Richardson, the whole thing is you're not winning because of him. In fact, I would even go as far as saying you're losing because of him.
I agree.
And so when you bring in Joe Flacco, and let's just focus on this game, right? The Colts-Vikings game this week got so much more interesting because of the Texans' loss to the Jets. This is a massive game in the AFC South. It's there for the taking. And we broke it down on tablet earlier. It's like that Vikings defense with Brian Flores, right? What they do from a quarterback perspective is they put you in a really high-stress environment. From all the double-A gap mug, they're walked up, they're blitzing from the left, they're blitzing from the right, they're dropping out, they do a lot of stuff. And so I don't know if Anthony Richardson could have handled that. And so not only is it for the future, but Joe Flacco, he's seen every single blitz you could possibly bring in the entire NFL. It's not going to surprise them. Now, are they going to win? I don't know. But if you're Adonai Mitchell, if you are Michael Pittman Jr., if you're Josh Downs, if you're Jonathan Taylor, you are loving this move because Joe Flacco can throw the ball deep, and that's what they do well. I'm seeing the Shane Steichen offense throw the ball down the field. Okay, Anthony Richardson is not a good deep ball thrower, hence 44% completion rate.
Right.
So if you're those receivers, you're looking forward to Joe Flacco playing.
So you spent 5 seasons with Sean Payton in New Orleans. And I said, going into the season, I said, listen, Caleb's got a defensive coach. Jaden's got a defensive coach. Michael Penix has a defensive coach. I said, don't be surprised if Bo Nix, because of Payton, gets off to a good start. Now, Jaden has been remarkable. But you tell me, clearly Bo has gotten better every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But you can see it. What's the magic potion, the elixir that Sean provides?
Well, you look at Jaden Daniels, right? You look at Cliff Kingsbury, what they're doing. They're running a college-style offense. Caleb Williams, not been great. You would say they're running a pro-style offense. And then you go to Bo Nix. I've seen Sean Payton change the offense a little bit. to help Bo Nix with his progressions, with his growth.
Giving him a little college.
Yeah, there's a little college, and I like that because I've seen some plays that is like almost like a delayed sprint out where Bo Nix is killing it on the run. I've never seen that play in Sean Payton's offense. I played with him 5 years, and usually it's the Sean Payton offense of old where you're just looking at it and saying, all right, just throw to this ball. And he's one of the great offensive minds of all time, in my opinion. But with Bo, he's running the football better, and he's getting more confident. That's what I'm seeing with Bo. As the season progresses, specifically when you play the Panthers, you're going to get confidence, right? But he's doing such a good job in the pocket, subtle movements. I don't want to say he reminds me of Drew Brees in the pocket because Drew Brees, in my opinion, is one of the best of all time maneuvering the pocket. He's able, though, Bo Nix is to slide left, to slide right. Those slight little movements, he's got a stronger arm than I think. He's more athletic than a lot of people think.
He can move.
And I think that's the sort of the secret sauce. His decision-making, right, with Davis Webb as a quarterback coach. I was there in the offseason, and I sat with them during training camp and stuff like that. And I got to see Davis Webb coach Bo Nix. It was like a mind of Sean Payton. So that's why I hired him. I think that's the secret sauce right there in that Bo Nix conversation. But you were on it, and I think you're right. It's the movement to get out of certain situations where a lot of other quarterbacks would just throw it away.
So something I look at, even in my Blazing 5 picks, when you give Sean McVay or Andy Reid or Shanahan, like they play Thursday the following week, they get 4 extra days, or they get a bye. There's no question in my life that offensive coaches, the good ones, a little flu or off a bye, you're just going to get new stuff. Here's what worries me about the Bears. They come off a bye against Washington. First 7 possessions, 6 punts.
Yeah, not good.
They did nothing with the extra time. What does that tell me about their prep? Are they just limiting what they're giving Caleb?
Yeah, it's the play calling. If I'm being completely honest with you, the play calling for me, and I gave it, and if this is harsh, and you might not, it was an F- last game. It was an F-. It was so bad because let's just take you through it. The first 2 games of Caleb Williams' career as a pro, you tried to put him in a pro-style offense, under center, play action. Sorry, that's not what Caleb Williams does. Right. He is a creator. He is a movement guy in space.
So they even made a mistake right out of the chute.
Right out of the chute. And it's Shane Waldron. And then you go to the next 3 games, really the next 14 quarters, 2.5 games. He was excellent because they opened up the offense. They put him in shotgun. They put him in RPO, run pass option situations. They said, hey, you know what? Let's give him pure progression reads, which for viewers at home, it's, hey, start on the left. Is he open? Yes. If not, go to the next guy. Do that. It wasn't half-field reads. And then you go on by, and you're playing well. You beat the Panthers and the Jaguars. I get it, but you are the reason. Caleb Williams is the reason they're winning those games. Yeah. And then you come against the Dan Quinn coach team, which their defense is great, right? And you play so poorly, and you coach so poorly the first 50 minutes of that Commanders game. But then you turn it around the last 10, and you drive the football field, or drive the length of the football field twice. You score a lot of points the last 2 drives, and you're going to win the game. And we're not talking about it, but we would be talking about the toast of the town, the Chicago Bears. If they're 5-2, they beat Jaden Daniels, they beat Dan Quinn on the road, and then you give up a Hail Mary. So, yes, the play calling was awful, but I do think Caleb, the last 10 minutes of the game, which I want to see quarterbacks do, he carried them.
This is the way sports fans are. They're great with emotion. They don't always contextualize stuff. So if you don't win, you're a bum. I think the best quarterback in the league that nobody gets yet is Justin Herbert. If you watch the Chargers last week, Mark Sanchez brought this on. There's nobody open. Like Will Dissly, who was a college defensive end.
I'm glad you brought it up.
I mean, there's nobody open. Now, Ladd McConkey is twitchy when he has the ball.
Yes.
But he's not a burner. He's not big. So
slot guy.
If you get him, like most slot guys, if you get him in space, he'll make guys miss. He'll make linebackers look slow. But he's not wide open. That's not what he is. So I think Herbert's so gifted, but I think we all look and go, where are the W's? How do you view him as somebody that was in this league for 14 years?
Yeah, I mean, I played with him. I was on the roster for 2 years. The thing about Justin that a lot of people don't understand is because we don't cover him a lot, right? I personally love him as a player, not only on the field, but off the field as well. He's one of the better leaders. He's one of the best teammates I've ever been around.
Really?
And quite honestly, he could care less about stats. In fact, him and Harbaugh meshed together perfectly because he don't care. He wants to win football. You saw him last game, the 38-yard run down the right sideline.
Yes.
He lowered his shoulder. I'm like, Justin, get out of bounds. You are literally
that way too much.
No, I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Get out of bounds. But you saw him throw for 346 yards in a loss, and Will Dissly is the leading receiver. I like Will Dissly.
I do too.
But
he's a Husky.
But
he was a defensive
it's
end in
Will
college.
Dissly. Like, what are we doing? Like, they took away Keenan Allen. They took away Mike Williams. Josh Palmer has not lived up to standards. Now they're getting,
this week, I will say, Quentin Johnson's back, and so is DJ
Chark.
Yeah.
But it is, and I love Ladd McConkey coming out. Like, that was, for me, as soon as he got drafted, when I was on draft coverage, I said, he's going to have 100 catches. He's on pace for 97. It's taken him a little bit of time to grow into it. High volume guy. But Justin is doing things. And quite honestly, when you play that good of defense, I think they've allowed 10 total touchdowns this year. When you're playing that good on defense, you can afford to throw to Will Dissly.
Okay, finally, we said this yesterday. We have a guy, Greg Cosell, that looks at film. Been doing it 45 years. And I said the Chiefs are so unique. Their offense isn't very good. But it's great in high leverage situations.
No doubt.
Which is usually many offenses in this league are good, but in high leverage situations, they get tight. Yeah. The Chiefs are the only team in the league that I don't trust their offense unless it's fourth down against a great defense. Yes. So you played under Andy Reid. What does he spend more time at practice on those? Yeah, I mean, look, everyone knows that Andy Reid is one of the most innovative play callers of all time. And he gets ideas from janitors, as he used to say. He gets ideas from backup quarterbacks. YouTube. YouTube. Anywhere he can get it, he'll try it. And he loves player accountability. These players are coming to him with these plays. Third downs, 2-minute situations, fourth downs, when game's on the line, it helps that you have Patrick Mahomes. He's pretty good as well. Yeah. But when you're moving the ball down the field like that, and you're still trying to find ways to win, like they don't have a run game. They're out there number 1 and number 2 receivers. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins trade moves the needle that much. Well, he's not a separator. He's great in the slot versus zone. And I watched this literally before I came on. I watched the game against the Raiders, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, Raiders, why in the world would you play zone against this team? Patrick Mahomes will eat you up. Play man-to-man, get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. That's how you beat this team. But then you'll do that, and Andy Reid will have some crazy man-beater that comes out of nowhere that he got from the janitor. So are you enjoying doing the facility? Are you enjoying it? I love it, yeah. You know what? When I told Acho that I was going to do the show, I said, I have one thing that I want to do, and I want to actually break down film on a morning show. They don't do it a lot, but we actually get to break down film, Colin, on this big board. And when we're always tossing to you and J-Mac over here, it's good to see you. We're always talking in between, like when you come out here 15 minutes prior. So it's been fun, man. I'm glad we're doing it. Finally, Jared Goff. I said he's the least respected great quarterback in the league, and the problem being, our first image of him, they asked him where the sun rises on Hard Knocks his rookie year. He didn't know, and the season was bad. And then McVay moves off, and that's bad. And then they win with Stafford, and that's bad. But in 5 to 6 years, you're going to look in the NFL record book, and he's going to be like 7th and 8th in like half the league. Yeah. And, I mean, to me, he is he's Kirk Cousins with a better arm. He's Matt Ryan with a better arm. How do you view him? He's not very athletic, but you know what? He's never hurt. Yeah. At Cal, he got ragdolled for 3 or 4 years. Yeah. He's never hurt. Yeah. Look, I like Jared Goff a lot. I don't think we talk about him enough. I think he's the main reason why the Detroit Lions are one of the best teams, if not the best teams in the NFC. And I don't like giving stats a lot, but what he's doing right now, it's historic. The last 5 games, he is 83% completion percentage, 156 rating. Okay, if he keeps on track for the 6th game this week and averages 83 and 1, it'll be the best stretch in the history of the game for completion percentage and passer rating. What he's doing is historic. Like, we're not talking about it enough. It helps that you have Sonic and Knuckles, right? Jameer Gibbs and Dave Montgomery. Yeah, it helps that you have a knee-biting head coach and Dan Campbell, right? All that stuff. Yeah. But another man's trash is someone's treasure. And with Detroit, they got the treasure in Jared Goff. Yeah, and the other thing about it is if you build a young culture, this is what I like about C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud appears to have no ego. Goff's got no ego. None. Herbert's got no ego. For as big a star as Lamar is, I don't see the ego. Nope. I mean, that's one of the things. That's why I'm so tough during the quarterback drafting process. It's like you're usually going to a bad team, and they're going to build the culture around you. Most of these great young quarterbacks, you get no nonsense. Yep. And that's no nonsense guys. We like those. We like those guys. You can be nonsense at receiver and Mike linebacker. You cannot at quarterback. There's no doubt about that. Thanks for coming on the show today. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.